Hey kiddos, how are you? So this week we're learning about vehicles that move through air. So we have been learning about rocket ships, helicopters, and right here, airplanes. So today we're going to be talking about a different kind of air vehicle transportation device that people might use, and that's called I'll give you a second to see if you can come up with the name. Do you know what this is or what we might be doing? If you said hot air balloon, you got it. So a hot air balloon is another form of transportation. It actually blows up like a balloon. They use hot air to keep it up in the air. And do you see this part? It's called a basket. And people get inside the basket and they can, float around and see different places from up above, go from one place to another. So today we're going to be making one of these. We will be using watercolor paint as well as the oil pastels. So I'll show you the materials when I switch the camera. So I will put the Up Up Balloon song, which is my favorite song, and then you will also have the Noon Balloon, which is a book about some kids that go on a hot air balloon ride. So you'll be reading that book and singing the song Up Up. So let's move on to get started with the activity. We do have quite a few things to do. All right, let me show you how to do it. Alrighty, now for the materials you will need, the first thing is the actual craft. So you should have the hot air balloon, the basket, and 2 strings that are already cut for you. So the strings and the basket, we can put them to the side. We won't be using them right now. You will also be needing the watercolor paint. Again, mine looks a little different from yours. You just use the ones you have. Ready? Your paintbrush, water, glue. You won't need that tool, but you will need your oil pastels and your messy mat to make sure you're not getting everything dirty. I also have a little rag just in case I need to dry my hands or whatever it might be. So the first thing we need to do is add some patterns and colors to the hot air balloon, and that's where the oil pastels come in. So open your oil pastels and use whatever colors you want to draw little patterns. Maybe you want to do like zigzags. Let's do zigzags in the middle. You can use whatever color you want, whatever patterns you want. So I'm doing zigzags there. Maybe I'll do little swirls in this one. Okay, just like that. Okay, and then in this one, I might do just little lines. Now remember, oil pastels do smear, so if you put your hand right on top and you move it, you will make all the colors move around. So try to be careful. Okay, now maybe in this other one, I'll do little lines. So you can do whatever you want on yours. Okay, then maybe I'll do some green, and let's see, what can I do? Maybe just little dots. Okay, remember, always do your artwork on top of your messy mat, just in case you go outside of the lines and onto the messy mat, you won't get the table dirty. So here's the activity. Here's the first step, So the next step is going to be to paint. Now I'm going to put away my oil pastels, put them to the side. So step 1 with watercolor is that we need to wake up the paints, right? So take your paintbrush, dip it in water, then put a little bit of water in each of the paints you're going to be using. Now, I think I'm going to use different colors for the section. So I'm going to wake up all of my paints. The only colors I'm not going to use are the brown and the black because I want my hot air balloon to be colorful. And brown and black are dark colors, so I don't really want to use those. So now I have my purple, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red awake. I woke up the paints. So now I'm going to take my wet brush. You can see that it's wet. Dip it a little bit in the water. Okay. And it should be purple. You see that? Okay. You don't need to, smear it inside. Just dip it inside the paint and you have enough. Okay, so now you can go ahead and color the section you want with the watercolor paint. Make sure you're covering the entire section. Now, if it's not moving around, it's because it's dry. You need to get a little bit more water. Okay? Water is your friend here. If you don't have enough, it's not going to work. You see how it's dry now? So then I pick up a little bit more water. And when you have water on your brush moves around. It can dance. So if you want your brush to be able to dance and paint, you need to make sure you have water. Okay? So go ahead and color, or paint, I should say, your entire hot air balloon. With your watercolor paint. Okay, now I'm going to pause it, do this part, and then come back and show you what it looks like when it's all done painted. Okay, so now I have used my oil pastels to do all my patterns, and I have painted each of the little sections with a different color. Now I'm going to put the lid on my watercolor paint. You're also going to need your strings now and the basket. Okay, so the basket hangs off the hot air balloon. So what you will need to do is get the string, turn your hot air balloon around, turn your basket around, okay, and you will need 2 pieces of tape. So get some tape if you have some. Okay, if not, you can try it with glue, but tape is honestly easier. And now I'm going to leave some room in between. Take another piece of tape, okay, and add this one to the hot air balloon. So now the basket is connected to the hot air balloon, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. So take your string, add a little bit of tape to the bottom, like that, and make sure it's the same distance as the other one, like that, and add your string. So now when you flip it over, you have your hot air balloon and it's all connected. Alrighty, make sure you are cleaning after you're done. So you should be throwing the water in the sink, cleaning your brush. Okay, we actually didn't need the glue. It was tape that we needed. Now before you put your brush away, use the water to stir it around. And if you have a little cloth that you can use, you can clean it there. Just move it around carefully not to break the brush. And your brush is now clean. Okay, so you can put the brush away. Make sure your watercolor paint dries up before you store it, because if you flip it over, you're going to have paint everywhere. So leave it to dry flat on a, table or maybe near your sink. Okay, so if it spills, you can clean it. And let that dry before you put it away. Alrighty, so here is your hot air balloon to go along with your other transportation vehicles that we've done this week. I hope you have fun. Make sure you read the book and you listen to the song. Alrighty, have fun in art and science.